Spain are through to the final of Euro 2024 after another impressive display against France in a 2-1 win in the semi-final. A game where, to be honest, I largely felt that Spain played France off the park, and tactically they got the upper hand in pretty much every area of the pitch. Let's take a look at how that happened. Of course, it started with Spain wanting to play the ball out from the back from goal kicks. We expect that from the Spanish side. They are willing at times to go long, but they do like to try and keep the ball short if possible. Now, in these situations, France had different spells during the game where they would use different approaches. One of these approaches from the French was to be passive, to put no pressure on the ball, leave Kolo Muani kind of stranded up front, and the goalkeeper makes it a 3v1. It's easy to move the ball out from the back and Spain move forward. There were also spells, though, where France would try and press a little bit higher. N'Golo Kante would come forward from midfield and essentially form a front two with Kolo Muani. We've then got Mbappe and Dembele in wide areas on the two fullbacks, with Tchouaméni and Rabiot squeezing high onto the two central midfielders. Now, initially on paper, this looks like this could be a good pressing structure. However, France had one major issue, and that was the lack of intensity in the way that they pressed, but also that man on the left-hand side, Kylian Mbappe, just didn't do his defensive job well enough. So what was the problem here? The problem was Jesus Navas at right back would push further forward in the build-up phase, and Cucurella would do something similar on the other side. Now, down this side of the pitch, it's not too much of a problem. Dembele will do his defensive work. Down this side of the pitch with Navas, it was a completely different story. So as Navas would move forward, and let's say the ball is played to the right-hand side, we would now see some key rotations from the Spanish players, which France didn't really deal with. And his main rotation was Yamal moving inside into midfield. Now, typically in a normal game, Theo Hernandez would feel that he can be aggressive there. He can follow Yamal, not let him get the ball in these areas, and he's going to trust his winger to do the defensive job on Navas. But that wasn't the case with Mbappe. He knows, Theo Hernandez, that Mbappe's not going to track Navas back towards his own goal. He's not going to do it. So as Yamal moves inside here and as Navas comes higher, Theo Hernandez comes kind of distracted, if you like, or almost pinned by Navas moving further forward. But if we look at Mbappe, he's not really changing his position. He's not really adopting a defensive approach to the game. He doesn't want to do it. So as a result, Yamal is able to come into these areas and create the overload. We can see that even if Olmo is higher, Spain are now 3 versus 2 in this key area of the pitch in the middle. And of course, once in these areas, all of these players are incredibly technically secure. And that is the important thing here. Being secure is vital. Hang on, let's just run that back 1 second. Being secure is vital. It's hard to disagree. Being secure is absolutely vital, especially when you are online. And that is exactly why you guys need to check out today's video sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN is a VPN provider, providing you with protection on the internet. So anytime you are online, you will be safe if you are using Surfshark VPN, protecting you from attacks and viruses online. On top of that though, using a VPN has much more scope as well. For example, it allows you to get around geo-blocking. So those annoying shows that you can't watch on different streaming services because of where you are in the world are no longer a problem. Because with a click of a button, you can be here, you can be here, you can be here. It doesn't matter. You can unlock this content from literally anywhere on the planet. And that's also particularly useful for the Euros. You know, we've got 2 more games to go still. You can change your location so you can use BBC iPlayer and the ITV player from literally anywhere in the world, again using Surfshark VPN, allowing you to watch these matches and watch these moments happen live. If you want all of that, get in the description down below and use the link, and also use code AJAnalysis for a bonus discount. Go check out Surfshark VPN. You won't regret it. Now, this technical security on the ball, combined with the good formation, the good rotations, and the exploiting of the France weakness, quickly allowed Spain to take control in this game and move the team much further forward towards the final third, where once again we saw some really interesting patterns and rotations from this Spanish side. So once the game has got to this sort of state here, with Spain on the ball looking to control and looking to push and probe, this is where they really start to take control. They started to dominate the game and really pin this France side back. And again, the reason they were able to do this was because of good rotations, particularly in the wider areas of the pitch. I think perhaps typically in the past we have associated Spanish sides with the ability to progress the ball through the middle. And of course with players like Rodri and Olmo, you still have that capability. But that isn't the most impressive thing about this Spanish side. It's actually what they do in wide areas and the rotations we see out wide. Because what we saw regularly in this game was Fabian Ruiz would move towards the ball like this, Cucurella would go up and round, and Nico Williams would come inside. Now on paper, if we kind of leave this in a static manner on the tactical board, it doesn't look like that much of a problem. But you've got to consider these aren't just dots on the board, these are actually all humans. And humans have to make decisions when different people move. So Dembele has a decision to make. Cucurella's gone round. Is that Dembele's man to follow, or should he be passing him on to Koundé? Is Koundé responsible for Cucurella, or is he responsible for Nico Williams moving into the half space? And also Fabian Ruiz. You can't just let him get time on the ball and pick it up and do what he wants. Who is responsible for following him? If it's N'Golo Kante, well, now the Spanish defenders have more time on the ball. This was a rotation that they used really well. The other thing that I liked when Spain are doing this is if the ball is on the left-hand side, the left back is going to go high and wide and be aggressive, looking to overlap and get forward into the final third. But the fullback on the other side, of course the right back, is actually just going to come over a little bit, play a fairly deepest position and tuck in into the midfield just to provide a little bit of security should things go wrong. And it was the same on the other side as well. If Navas would go round down the outside, Yamal would come inside, and the ball is of course over here. We're going to see the whole Spain team shift across, and Cucurella on the other side is just going to tuck in slightly. And what this allows Spain to do is attack down one side of the pitch, but if it doesn't work, they can be patient. They can turn around, they can come back, and now they can go inside the pitch and they can look to probe down this side. And it just worked so well, and France didn't really have the answers. And we've also got on screen here the other big key tactic in this game. Lamine Yamal coming inside. I mean, what a performance from such a young player to produce this performance in a European semi-final at 16 years old it's a bit of a joke. I'm not going to go on about it too much because I think most people will. But the ability to go both ways is so key for the Spain side from both wingers. Nico Williams on the left, he's brilliant at going down the outside on his left foot, but he can also come inside onto his right foot. And I love the intent from Williams in particular. He is always wanting to go at players, and his decisions in the final third are normally pretty good. Yamal on the other side probably needs to work on his decision making a little bit more, right, in these areas, but of course he's very young, it's not an issue. But what he clearly has is that little bit of magic. And we saw it for the goal, but also the second goal as well was Yamal coming inside. We saw Navas then going round, and then we saw the ball eventually coming into the box. This is all good work from this Spanish side, and you can see the rotations that they're working on. They look really well drilled in what they do in possession, and that's what makes them so impressive. But I think what makes them just as impressive as well was how they controlled this game defensively, because France never really got onto the ball. We never really saw France implementing their in-possession ideas, and that was because of how Spain approached the game. So when France were trying to play out from the back and were trying to get on the ball, we saw a completely different game to what we saw up the other end of the pitch. When Spain were playing out, we saw France pressing, but not fully pressing, making it too easy for Spain to play through them. And we also saw spells where France sat off completely and refused to get near the ball and let Spain play from the back. Spain didn't do that. When France had the ball at the back, when Maignan had the ball in goal, he was under pressure. And the Spanish side used a really bold approach, to be honest with you. So Dani Olmo is going to come forward into a front two with Morata. What we're then going to see is Tchouaméni inevitably drop a little bit deeper into here. But Fabian Ruiz didn't let him go there, under no pressure. Fabian Ruiz would back the press on Tchouaméni. So we can see with the centre-backs and the central midfielder, Tchouaméni, Spain are now man-to-man, but they're also aggressive over the rest of the pitch as well, because Rodri is going to come into a high position, sort of between these two midfielders, and Yamal and Nico Williams are going to have these in-between positions, where should the ball go to the fullback, it is their job to get over and press, but also should it go the other side, again they're going to do the same, but they are also going to help out Rodri should the ball go through the middle of the pitch. And again, I think this is a really underrated side to the Spanish game here in this starting 11. The work rate of all of these players is phenomenal. Nico Williams, Yamal, they may be young, exciting footballers, but I tell you what, they put their shift in for the team as well. Defensively, they do their jobs. And this was the big difference. Because Spain were constantly aggressive, constantly pressing high, constantly looking to assert themselves on the French side, France never had a spell, really, where they could get out, sustain the ball, control the game, and really put their ideas on display. They never really had that spell. Now, one of the reasons for that was, like we've said, Spain tactically being set up so well, but also the personnel choices from Deschamps for France wasn't quite right. A midfield three of Tchouaméni, Rabiot and N'Golo Kante is of course extremely gifted. Going to work incredibly hard, do a lot of defensive work, and they can play on the ball as well. But in a game where you are facing a high press, Rabiot and Kante are just not the two players, unfortunately, that you want to exploit these spaces. Because there are spaces there. There is a little bit of space either side of Rodri if you move the ball quickly enough. But Rabiot and Kante just weren't the players to do this. Could Camavinga have played on the left-hand side of the midfield, or even Griezmann on the right-hand side? That might have added something different to the France game, allowed them to play in a different way. We could have even seen Griezmann up front, dropping deeper into a false 9 position, to again try and offer something a little bit different. France never really had that, and the only time they really looked like threatening was through someone like Mbappe on the left-hand side, looking to use and show individual brilliance, as we saw for the goal, or Barcola when he came on. He was really direct, looking to take on the dribble. But in general, France never really got close to Spain, and Spain deserve a lot of credit for that. It may have been 2-1, the scoreline's very close, and France actually had the higher XG, but if you watch the game, you all saw that Spain controlled this in and out of possession, and that deserves a lot of credit. I thought they were very impressive, and they absolutely deserve to be in the final of this competition. Who will they face in the final? Will it be England? Will it be Netherlands? We'll find out later on today. I will, of course, be covering that match on the channel tomorrow. But in terms of this video for today, we are finished. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.